there she is. Hi, Angelica.
Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. She's calling in from Saskatchewan. How do I say it? Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. Wow, can you imagine saying that 10 times or after a glass of wine? It'd be terrible.
I think so.
So thank you so much for coming as well. I know we're just starting the call now, and I just started a little recording. And I got my friend Bobban on the phone as well. Kusmura, do you see? And
Yes.
he's in my hometown. And and Angelica is up in northeast corner of Canada. Do I got that?
It's actually in the south.
Oh, there you go.
South in Canada. We're in the west.
Oh, you're
right next to Alberta is where Saskatchewan is.
So I messed that up. I was thinking past Toronto, but of course that's wrong.
No, it's the other way.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I did look that up on the map, and I was fumbling over on the right side of the map. Yeah. So Bobban is from Serbia, but lives in Norway, in my hometown. And I was just saying to Jenny, I got Jenny on the phone. She's on a phone call in here. She's in a car. And her and I met in Cabo San Lucas at a high-powered mastermind for Amazon. And we paid $5,000 to be there in Cabo San Lucas for 3 days with some really big sellers on Amazon. So she's been selling on Amazon, and now she's doing some digital stuff. She can maybe tell us a little bit about that later. She's on mute because she's driving. And so Bobban and I, we met in an entrepreneur club in my hometown. Yes, and as you know, I seek out old foreigners. So I was like saying, "Hey, we need to meet." So that's how Bobban and I remain friends. So he's got a very interesting business background as well. So it's all good. And so we're waiting a little bit to see if there's some more joining in. If not, I'll go into my presentations, because today my goal is to talk about and share how I set up a mastermind, how it could be of help to you, and why we all need to be in a mastermind. And I know you're convinced already, Angelica, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I want to make it easy for you guys to start your own mastermind. So I will have a little form, and I'll walk you through it, and I will have this recording as well. So, and I'll probably send out some of these speaking notes, and it'll actually be a transcription of this afterwards. So Angelica, why don't you tell yourself, tell us a little bit about you, if you can, just like 2 minutes.
All right. Okay. So converge my life into 2 minutes. Yes, basically, I've been a photographer for the last quarter of my life, and I'm an artist, and so I also love meditating. And I decided to combine meditation with art. So I have an online course that I created where you use guided meditation to create the subject for what you want to paint. And then we use the chakras to create the colors. Anyway, in a nutshell, I live in Saskatchewan. I'm married for 30, or no, I guess it's almost 40 now. I don't know. I've been married a mighty long time, and love the guy. Anyway, and life is good.
That's awesome. We met actually through Tony Robbins, a course we're taking online, and also Robin that just joined now as well. She's also in the same class. And we ended up forming a mastermind after that course with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. And we're still in it a 1.5 years later. So that was the biggest payment literally for us to take the course, to end up in a mastermind and stay in contact with each other. That's really good. Now I got another guy, Robert, coming in too. Awesome. Thank you so much. We probably won't be able to go around the room for everyone. But I got Robert. He's in my other mastermind group as well. We've been together since 2004, something like that. And he's calling in from Green Bay, Bray, something like that. Is it up there, Robert? He's muted. Yeah, he's muted. I know he's at work as well, so he may just be listening in on a half a year. So I see he says muted out, so he might not be able to talk. So, but him and I are in another mastermind I'll tell you about. And Robin and I, same story with Angelica, where we met at Tony Robbins as well. And Jenny, that's on the phone call. We met, I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but she's, her and I, we met at a high-powered Amazon mastermind group in Cabo San Lucas. And Bob Bon, for those that came in after, a very good friend from my hometown, Larvik, but he's from Serbia originally, lived probably in Norway now for about 7-8 years, I'm going to guess. I may be wrong, something like that, right? And so anyway, I'm glad to have you all here. So today, my goal is to actually share a little bit about how you can get started with a mastermind yourself and why we all need to be in a mastermind. So what I normally say to people, I said, do you know what a mastermind is? Many people don't know. I'm surprised how many people don't know. And I talk about how all the rich men, so to speak, in the old days, they were all in mastermind groups because there are only rich men in the old days, right? The Carnegies, the Henry Fords, the JP Morgan, the Gettys, you know it. And they were all in mastermind groups. That's one of the 17 principles in Think and Grow Rich. They all had a mastermind to consult with. So what I say, I always make an example. I say, we all need to work together. We all need to work in teams. So in order to elevate our thinking and results. So I go, how much is 1 + 1? Most people say 2. And I say, no, it's 11. So why? Because the sum of its parts is much bigger than the actual, what the numbers give you. And so that's how powerful a mastermind is, because you actually develop a third invisible intelligence above you that you cannot reach alone. It's impossible to reach that level of thinking and drive and team spirit alone. So what I set out to do is my goal is to help as many people as I can to start their own mastermind. And so that's really my main point. And I haven't rehearsed this presentation, so I'm going to be stuttering along a little bit here. So you just got to be patient with me, which I hope most of you are. But basically, I formed my first, one of my first masterminds. Actually, not one of my first. I formed a mastermind around Amazon in 2012. And the way that mastermind group came about was that some friends of mine called me and they said, Alf, have you heard of the opportunity on Amazon to sell online? And I said, no, I hadn't, and I had never sold on Amazon. So I said, I would love to hear more. So this lady told me there's going to be 2,000 people in Austin, Texas for 3 days learning how to sell on Amazon. And I was like, whoa, that sounds amazing. So my wife and I, we decided to fly to Austin, Texas. But before that, I said to my wife, if we're going to go there, my number one goal, or our number one goal, should be to form a mastermind group. What better place to go where somebody is really, really focused in? And we, long story short, we decided to never sit together during those days of presentations and lunch and everything. We always sat in different places, and we collected names and numbers. And we were looking for a total of 4 to 5 people that we thought were helpful, they were smart, they were driven, we liked their energy, and they were going places. They were serious. That's the kind of key things we were looking for. And those are actually some of the things that you want to pay attention to if you're going to form a mastermind around something that you're going to focus in on, and we'll get to that in a second. You want to look for those criteria because they're very important. And some of them you won't discover right away. You will have to engage with them more than just one time to kind of gauge their level of integrity, driven, how driven they are, and all of that. So after 3 days, we told them, we called the people that we liked the most. We said, meet us to the right of the stage. And that was after the third day was over, and we formed the mastermind group. This mastermind group, since 2012, meet every Monday for 1.5 hours to collaborate and share and elevate and help each other move forward. I know some of you have heard that story before, but I'm recording this for other people that haven't heard it before. But it's very important. This is the level of commitment and and let's call it organization and drive that we have for our mastermind. It doesn't happen easily, but you have to gather the right people and really stay on top of it. That's a lot more to it than that. So, but it's a great way to form a mastermind, and you can do the same thing in online forums, or if you take an online course. Look at Kathleen and Robin and me. We ended up with a mastermind from a course online. We have never met in person, but we meet on camera every week. And so that's one story, and I don't want to get into too many stories, but that's a principle or an example of how you can do it yourself. So let's see here now. So one of the things that I ask people to do, and maybe you can do this right now for the ones that haven't done it, is to write down a burning desire that you have, something that you really want to achieve, something that might be a lifelong goal or that you dreamt of. It could be being a great artist, or it could be I want to be great at sports, or I want to take my photography class to a whole different level, or I want to take my baking store to a whole different level. How is that what you really want to focus on? And that would be maybe something you want to put down in your first column. That I actually have a PDF that I'm going to give away. But if you want to write something down, something that you're dreaming of, something that you have a strong desire of achieving, that could be something like that. Should be written down there. And so let me talk a little bit about how we meet. And then if you can remind me, I will go back to how we select the members, because that's one of the most important concept of the whole thing, so that you can collect the right people. I say collect. I say you connect with the right people that you want to have in your group. So basically, here's how a mastermind looks like for me. So let's take the Amazon as an example. So every week we meet on Monday at 6 o'clock Norway time. It happens to be 9 o'clock California time. So most of these people are overseas. And so it works with their timing too. And they all have committed that time to it for an hour and a half. We are 6 people in our group. So the way we run it, we get 15 minutes each, and we go around the table, meaning the room. Okay, now, Boban, you talk about what it is that you are working on right now. What are you struggling with? What have you learned? So whatever you want to share and talk about, that's up to you. So, but during this week, when we now have met many times, I may have heard Boban say, oh, I'm struggling with this, or I'm struggling with that. So my radar, my antennas are going to be out. What is it that Boban is working on? How can I help Boban? How can I find resources for Boban? And Boban will do the same when I have my talk, if there's certain things I'm looking for or struggling with. So we all so I take notes. I actually have a document, I wouldn't say open every day, but I can easily find it in my Google Drive. And I write down things that I learn, or questions that I said, oh God, yeah, I don't know the answer to this. I'm going to ask Peter in this. I'm going to ask so-and-so about this in my group. So I write it down. Or I find something, a quote or something, or a lead, or an idea for Boban, for example. I write it down. Make sure to tell Boban that. So this document, when I am on my call, if you happen to be on a Skype call, I have these notes open. And let's say Boban has his 15 minutes. I write Boban with capital letters, and as Boban talks, I jot down little notes. I said, oh, he said this, okay, because that's his floor. He has the floor. So I take down notes, this, that, and the other, and then maybe he has a pause. I say, Boban, have you thought about this? You mentioned this. What about that? Then I feed him with some information. So I engage him in a conversation. And it's very important for me too, when people log into either the Zoom call or Skype call, to stay active. And I know some of you, or several of you, have muted yourself out, but I see you on video, which is great, because I know you're here. I know you're present. Sometimes when I see people in my Skype room and they're muted out, I'm going, are they really paying attention to me? Are they paying attention to what the other people are saying? To me, that's very important, because it shows that you're engaging. It shows that you're active. So this is just one of the steps that I do. And we happen to use Skype, and sometimes we use, what do you call it? We use somebody else's, that's Robert. Hey, Robert, how are you? Sometimes we use Skype, Zoom, or Zoom. Exactly. Is that what you said? Oh, you're
Zoom.
coming in and out. Yeah. So
I'm
it's very
I'm in Cancun. I'm in Cancun. So
Cancun, nice.
I kind of turned
love
up.
it. Yeah, you're a little choppy there. That's good. That's all good. So we basically go around the room, and some of the people in the mastermind group will be a timekeeper. Very often that's me in our group, so I clock it. But like the group that Robert and I are in, we don't have 15 minutes. We just say, hey, Robert, what do you need to talk about? Since you came in first. So the way we do it, to be more detailed, the one that answers the call first, they go first, and then second, third, fourth, and fifth. So it basically works like that. So if you come in last, you speak last. But it doesn't mean that you don't get your time. We all get our 15 minutes. And we are never more than 6, because that's like the magic number. From 2 to 6 is a mastermind. Sometimes when somebody has a big issue, I may say, Boban, you can take my 15 minutes. You have a more urgent issue than me. Go ahead, you have the floor. And somebody else may even say, hey, you can have my 15 minutes too. So you have 45 minutes. Those things happen. And it's not that seldom either. Or if you have one person that says, hey, next time I'm going to talk about Mid-Journey, which is a new AI software for creating images. And that's what happened in our last call. One person, Chung, actually talked for the whole hour and a half about Mid-Journey. So we all learned, we relinquished our time, and we learned about Mid-Journey. And we recorded that call because he is leaps and bounds ahead of us. So you can imagine now immediately, instead of going through all the courses and everything he's done, he goes boom, boom, boom. And we lift our, what do you call it, the intelligence and knowledge about that software so quickly. I always look for active participation. So that's what I was saying about being muted out, not participating. I'm not saying that you're muted out, that you're not participating, but it's important that we are paying attention to what the other person is saying. We record all our calls. So we have both the audio recording and the transcription. Sometimes we have a video recording as well. Today, I'm actually recording this. So with your permission, I hope I'm allowed to share this, because other people will also listen in on this later. I also started implementing new stuff in my mastermind as well, because I'm reading a book called Before Happiness. I know some of you on the call know exactly what that book is about. It's by Sean Achor. It's a fantastic book. And he talks about gratitude, showing gratitude and being grateful for being able to have access to all the knowledge that we have, the members we have access to, our health, our wealth, where we're living in a peaceful country, all of these things, right? So we have a lot to be grateful for. So in my other mastermind group, I'm saying, hey, say one thing you're grateful for today. So for instance, I said last time, I'm grateful for Chung to recording all the calls. That's one thing I was grateful for. So just sharing those things. These things are important. We also are picky about not missing meetings. If you miss too many meetings, you also don't get to know what the other people are struggling with. And this, I'll tell you, one of the biggest reasons for a mastermind failing is not enough momentum on how often you meet. If you hope that once a month is going to cut the mustard, that group has a small chance of surviving, if you ask me. But not only that, it would also not be on as much fire as it needs to be. You can imagine a month goes by and you meet again, you probably don't even remember what was talked about in the last call, let alone what somebody was struggling with that you needed to help them with and get back to them about. So I have seen it too many times over plus 25 years doing these mastermind groups, that this is one of the biggest pitfalls that people fall into, and not meeting often enough and not creating enough momentum. You have to have momentum. There's no such thing as a leader in a mastermind, or a, what do you call it, coach or conductor or whatever you want to call it. But very often you'll find that somebody, for instance, in your case, it may, if you start your own mastermind, you'll take on automatically a lot of responsibility yourself. In the mastermind groups that I've started, I end up taking a lot of charge, because I want to make sure that it succeeds and it's important to me. So very often I'm in the timekeeper, or I remind people, or I bring up issues that I don't think is good, because we've had issues with members not getting back to other members. We had one guy in our group. He made $27 million a year on Amazon, biggest seller among us. Obviously not going to mention any names, but we had to let him go. He didn't follow up. He didn't stay active. And So, and I brought it up, but it's not my vote. So we vote all as members, as majority, and we have a rule that majority rules, and we voted him out. And then we invite somebody else in that is more hungry and that could be better for the team. So those things happen. It's we only switched out 2 people in our group actually, so we're actually quite fortunate. And so there's not really one leader. It's just somebody needs to take charge at some level to make things happen. Sometimes we invite a guest speaker. So let's say we have been to a seminar, or we've met somebody online that's really good at certain things. We may ask him or her to come in and present maybe on SEO with AI, for instance, artificial intelligence, or how to release, do press releases, or how to do better advertising on Facebook. And then we got to think about what can we give in return to this person that's going to be presenting. It's not like only take. You need to give as well. So that's those are things we do. Or if we do, like I just mentioned earlier, we have one person present on something they learned. One guy the other day had gone away to an SEO conference, comes back and debriefs us on all the things that he learned. And he's very good with CEO. He's in my mastermind, in my Amazon mastermind group. So we learned a lot. So so a lot of giving like that. Let's see. Now, one of the biggest things people are running up against when they never started a mastermind, they start doubting yourself, like I did. Here's a story. Jeff and I, and Robert, you know him. You may not have heard this story before, Robert, but you like it. Jeff and I, we were in Los Angeles for a meeting with Jay Abraham. It was a 3-day event. And him and I have been meeting in this professional setting several times before, and we started connecting, and we said, why don't we start a mastermind group? I said, great. So we started looking around the room. Who can we invite here? Who do we like? And both Jeff and I don't know who mentioned him first, but it was Mark. So Robert, you'll identify with this. And I said to Jeff, my God, this guy, why would he join our mastermind group? He is so smart. He's way past us. And Jeff looks at me and he says, Alf, why do you say that? I got things that he doesn't know. You got a lot of things that he doesn't know. You got connections he doesn't know, that doesn't have, and all these different things. And so I kind of kicked myself in the bit saying, you're absolutely right, because that is very common to think like, why would this person join our mastermind group? Since we feel that they're far ahead of us. So you should never really think that, because we all come from different background, different views, different experiences, different connections and all of that. So I'm so glad that Jeff really caught me on that. So we went up to him and said, hey, would you be interested in being our mastermind? And actually first he said, no, I'm too busy. But we didn't let it go with that. So we followed up with him again, because we have this call. Do you like to get on a call with us? Why don't you see what we do? So he got on a call. And this is back in 2005 or 6, and he's still on the call to this day, and he's phenomenal. But he's also very glad that he's in our group, because we've given him a lot as well. So that's one of the things. You should never think that way. Just to try to learn from what I learned, but it's natural to think that way, I think, for many people. And I have a tool for that, actually. And it's called What's Cool About You. And I know Angelica and Robin, you know what that document is. And this is actually a form you fill out about yourself, because you need to build yourself up. You need to not only build yourself up, you need to realize that you're so much more than you can in the moment think about. So you need to think about what's unique with you. Like, I know Boban, and we met at an entrepreneur group. I didn't know he had a company with 300 people and had airplanes and boats and this. I had no clue. And those are the kind of things you write down. Like, for instance, I'll share some, but it can be also personal things. You can have personal interest. Like, for instance, not to brag about myself, but I played soccer when I was in Norway. When I moved to the US, I stopped playing soccer. So I started playing hacky sack. And after 8 years of training hard, I became number 2 in the world. That doesn't happen by itself. It's not some major sport or anything like that millions of people compete in. It's a very small sport, just to tone it down a little bit. But it tells something about my integrity, my tenacity, my competitiveness. So those are the kind of things I want you to look for in your own skills, your own background. When you say, what's cool about me? It could be you've been you're training to go for a marathon. A person's got to be extremely dedicated for that. Or you sold a course and made so much money. Or you did XYZ or got a PhD. I mean, all these things are important that we need to let other people know. But the PhD is probably on your resume. It's more of these extracurricular activities. For instance, one of the things I know Mark liked, if I remember correctly, I had organized events in San Francisco. I had 5,000 people at City Hall for a Halloween party. I have over 20,000 people on my email list. That doesn't come overnight. This happens and over a long time, and you need to network and do all these things. So those are the kind of things that people wouldn't know about you unless you make them aware of that in a subtle way. So, okay, of course, not bragging like I'm doing now. Sorry. I'm not trying to brag. So this far, I've been rattling along. Any questions, any things that I may have skipped because I've been in it for so long, for like 25 plus years now? Any things that you wonder about? Because my goal here is that you will have a tool that can help you find one person, and together, the two of you find a third person. That's how the mastermind is built. I didn't get into that too much. I skipped some of my notes here, but 2 people find a third person, the 3 people find a fourth person, and you start setting criteria. When are you going to meet? How are you going to meet? How long are you going to meet for? What's the concept? Are you going to meet in person? What's the format going to be? Are you focusing only on Amazon, or I'm using this as an example, only on one business? Or can you be entrepreneurs like Mark and I? We're entrepreneurs in many different industries with Mark and Jeff, Chung, me, and Robert. Robert, yeah, sorry, I said Mark. Yeah, Mark's the other guy. So it doesn't have to be focused on one thing. We are all doing different businesses. And we actually, in that group, like I said earlier, we don't even have a set time where we talk. So anyway, any questions, anything I haven't really touched on? And I appreciate it.
Alf, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
I was just going to kudos your, and say I second your thing on thinking big about your group.
Yeah.
I said the same thing a while back about when Mark, to Mark.
Yep.
I said to Mark, I can't believe you're in our group. I'm, kind of feel blessed or something. He goes, why do you say that? You did this almost the same thing as you said, so don't underestimate yourself.
That's right.
Me and Alf also know a lot of stuff, but them guys, Mark is obviously the most successful person. Doesn't mean, we can't help him. But so I kudos to that, make sure you think big when you try to get your group. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
That's right. Very, very correct. That's what you're very right. And Robert, we also met at another J. Abram meeting down in Los Angeles as well. I don't think it was the same meeting with Mark. It was another one, but we were in a long-term course with a joint venture, right, Robert? Right?
Yep. Yeah. Joint venture course with Jay.
Yeah, exactly. So it's such a good point, such a huge point too. And in this book that I'm reading too, if you haven't had a chance to read it, it's called Before Happiness. I know Angelica and I think Robin is about to read it. Angelica and I are reading it at the same time. They talk about the importance of how a team works. A team, the most successful people are always in a team, and it is not the smartest person that's the most successful in that team. It's usually the person that's willing to help the most. And it really moves me actually when I say that, because it's such a powerful thing. You can be less educated, this, that, and the other, and think you're not as smart as the other, but if you're willing to go the extra mile and do whatever it takes, that person will succeed faster. And that's statistically proven. And it's such a beautiful thing. He brings it up in the book in so many, in work environment, in team environment, and all of that. And I don't know how, it kind of relates, because you know how they have drafts in American football? They pick the best draft from colleges. Very, very seldom do they pan out when they get drafted in for the NFL team. Why? Because they don't have the team with them that brought them there, that had Joe and Franz and Frederick, and these with all different qualities that combined together that made that person so good. So it's a combination of the whole team that really makes the person strong. So anyways, that's just another example from that book. All right.
I'll make one more. I'll make one more quick comment, and I'm going to mute myself because I'm on vacation. But I would definitely say, before you approach them, make a list of why they should join. Make your what problems do you solve for them, and make a list so you can, when you approach them, you have a script made up to get them in your group.
Right.
And
Right.
one of the things I use is one of the things I use is that Jim Rohn. If you look him up, he's one that taught Tony Robbins. He was his mentor. He says there's only 10% of people in the world that want to learn and grow. So I kind of, one of my script is that, are you a person that wants to learn and grow? Are you stuck where you are? Think of the problems, but I use that 10%. Are you a 10%er? I tell them a story about Jim Rohn and Think and Grow Rich. That was one of the principles. If you want to think, are you one of them 10%ers? I'm looking for some people to join a group.
Yeah. Perfect. That's
They
awesome.
make them feel special, right? If they're a 10%er, if they feel that way, you got to be one. We don't want to work with people that don't want to learn and grow anyway. So
that's right. That's right. Beautiful. That's awesome. I'm missing out on a lot of things like that too, but it's great that you're catching where I'm falling, Robert. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So let's see. Any other comments? Any other things? Any other things that wasn't too clear?
Alf, I'd just like to add something. When you first introduced this class to us last week, I felt intimidated a little bit, like, what do I have to offer, and who am I? Because you hobnob with all these important people, and I joined anyway, and I had the most wonderful experience with your group last week, and I felt a deep connection to the people that were on the call. So I just want to add that even if it's fearful and you don't think you have something to offer, that you do, and you don't understand your value to other people because you're just in your own self. So thank you, Alf.
Thank you as well, Robin, and you add a lot of value too. And like you're saying, and you were a little scratchy coming in there, but I'll repeat. Robin said she felt a little bit intimidated to get on the call last week when I had my first call, and she said, "I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me from showing up and she got so much out of it and met some wonderful people." So that's really a testament to exactly what I'm saying. You have to show up, and you're part of a team, and everyone contributes with their energy, with their insights, with their comments, with their kindness, all of that. So that's beautiful. That's great to hear, Robin. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'm very happy that you're showing up again. That's really awesome. And we have a new group here. I know Bill was supposed to be here, but he was here last time. I know you met Bill Dorr. He's a great friend of mine from up in, what state was he in again? Close to you, Robin, right? Yeah.
Yes, I forgot.
New Hampshire? New Hampshire or something like that?
Yeah, he was in New England, I believe.
New England.
Oh, okay. New England, yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's okay. And he creates courses too. And he found me online, actually. We became friends through my RIP card in 2006 or so. And we've ever stayed friends. We never met in person. We met online a lot. And he and I might be collaborating on things in the future too, because he's doing courses and he's amazing at referrals. I don't want to spend too much time here, but my friend Bill, he's phenomenal. When he made an introduction, he makes introductions like you've never seen anything like it. And he has a whole script. So he says, Alf, I want you to meet John. So Alf, you need to meet John because John's on this. And I know John wants to talk to you about this, and you got to make sure to mention this with John. And he goes, John, you need to meet Alf because Alf's on this. And I told Alf to bring this up with you. That's the introduction. It's like my hair, like, whoo, I'm flying back going, holy shit, how can you do such an introduction? And he's a pro at it. Here he is. Speak of the devil. Hey, Bill. Okay, let's see if he comes in. But that's exactly what I'm talking about right now. I say admit. Yeah, there he is. Hey, Bill. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
There we go. There we go. How you doing?
I'm so glad you delayed it by 10 seconds because I was just pitching you like there was no tomorrow.
So the transaction went through, I guess, then, huh?
Yeah, exactly. $100,000 is in the bank. Yeah,
Very
no, I
good.
was telling them about how you're such an amazing person in terms of and not only everything you do, but introducing people and how you set up the introduction and how you execute on it. No, I've seen nothing like it. So it's
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
no, nothing, never. I've shared it in my local advertising, network. What do you call it? Entrepreneur group here in Larvik too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm honored and appreciative very, very much. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm the one that's humbled. So anyway, so
Hey, Robin.
there, Robin is here. Yeah. So Bill was here last time too, and you can see Angelica Colette. I've never said your last name before.
Colette?
How do I say that, Angelica?
Olette, and it would be
Olette.
like OLET.
Oh, I was sure it was a Q. Okay.
Oh, let us free
Yeah.
from this tyranny of Alf. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah. So
See how
basically,
memorable that is?
yeah, no, so I basically took him through how I set up a mastermind, how we identify people, and how I go through a mastermind group and set it up. And Robert Yankee, is from Green Bay,
Mm.
and him and I have been in a mastermind since I think 2004, 2005, something like that, long time.
Wow.
So yeah, so I asked people if there was any questions about the mastermind, anything you wondered about, anything that's unclear, because I'll send you guys a follow-up with a PDF where you can start writing down your burning desire. There's a circle with you in the middle, and then there's 5 other boxes around. And I can actually share that. Let me see, because I've been practicing sharing my screen here. How about that? I'll probably screw it up big time here. No, not that. Not that. Not that one. There it is.
Always the last one, you know?
Always the last one. Can you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's this box here. I know it's probably too small to read everything here. This box here, this is where you write in your burning desire. You could be more than one, but you need to settle on one so that you have one direct thing you go after. Okay, and then here is what I was just referring to now. You make a circle with the you in the center here, and then you write a name of a person. It should ideally not be a personal friend or a family member. Or I'm not going to get too much into it. It just complicates things in a mastermind. Find people that you meet professionally or in groups there where you are feeling that you feel the right meet the right person. So you write the name of that person here. You write down what skills and capabilities that you think that's unique with that person on the 3rd line, or the 2nd line, I mean. And then you also write down how you can help this person. I think it was Dan Sullivan. He's a pretty well-known internet guy. He said you should never expect anyone else to help you before you help them. And it's a good slogan to live by. And I actually have a little, what do you call it? A little video I want to show you with just that. Let me play one video for you here. You are presenting. Yes, I am. Stop presenting. Okay. Now I will share again. And it's a video. It's only a minute long. Hopefully this will work too. But it's really, really powerful. So here we go. 1 second. And I'll turn up the sound here.
What sorts of openers do you think establish the best rapport and benevolent discovery of a topic?
Well, what I'm saying correlates real strongly with people I want to do business with. If they figured out something that they know is valuable for me and they've just done it and they've just offered it, like right off the bat, no strings attached. They found a way to drop something on me that's valuable. They didn't approach me with their hand out. They approached me with some sort of generosity. Like a friend of mine, Joe Polish, runs this outfit called Genius Network. Joe, he says, life gives to the giver. Like Joe did a bunch of favors for me before I ever joined. And he was trying to help me out and get my book sold. And he asked me to come in and speak. And he'd emphasized my book on his podcast and in different conversations. And I finally paid the fee to join. because he had done so much for me. Like there's not much Joe could ask me for right now, because he's done so much for me that he gets a blanket pretty much yes right away. What do you want? What do you want? What do you need? Because he's just generous. And the generosity approach, universally, I'm seeing a lot of really successful people that lead by generosity.
So pretty powerful stuff, huh?
Mm.
Yeah, and a friend of mine sent that to me, and it's one of the things that I notice with people that are successful too. They're usually very generous. They're willing to give before they receive. And there's a book called The Go-Giver, right, with Bob Burke or Robert Burke. What's his?
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic book if you haven't read that, The Go-Giver. When one of my goals when I came back to Norway in 2016 is like, who can I help? How can I help you? But the funny, there's a culture here in Norway sometimes, and I shouldn't slam us too much. We are not, because we don't really, like, we're okay. We live in a society where the government take care of you no matter what. Okay, here's Jenny's gonna join. Sorry, guys. So we live in a society where the government is a big safety blanket for us. We're not really. I mean, if you lose your job, you still be fine. You know, in many other countries, it's not like that. And I know in America, they're extremely good at networking. And that's one of the things I love about the American society, because if you go to a party or somewhere else, like, what do you do? Oh, you need to meet so. It happens very, very quickly. And they do it because they also know that it builds a network. And that's really, really so strong. So one of the things that, like I said, when I'm coming back to Norway, I'm asking, how can I help you? What do you need? Can I help you? Because I know eventually it's going to come back to me, not necessarily from that same source, but it will come universally. It'll come back. So and of course you're happy. Giving gives you more joy than receiving. At least me, and I think for many people. You know, Bill, you're a poster boy for that.
Yeah, well, you haven't talked to the IRS lately, have you? Giving is not always better, let me tell you.
This is true. You're too funny. You should be a comedian.
Well, maybe we could do a duet together, you know? I mean, you know,
I'm terrible.
frickin' frack, remember? Right, Robin knows about that. Those guys used to be up out of Boston.
Yeah.
Little comedy team on the radio. Anyway, good point. Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that thing up about givers get, and which is, you know, a B&I old adage, but also Berg's comment about the go-giver. It is about, you know, putting forth to get something back. And it's almost like you got to ante up to get in the game. Once you're in the game, things can start to happen. But if you're not in the game at all, you're just a spectator. And that's not a good place to be if you want to be in business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So true. Okay. Any other comments, any thoughts, anything you want to share? I mean, a book you read, a great quote you heard. I'm open to anything. Anyone? I don't have that much more to cover per se. My main goal today was to just go through the basics of how you can start with your own mastermind. It starts with one person, and like Robert says, be a little picky about who you elect to come into your group, because you can end up like me, sticking with them for 10, 20 years, you know. So it's an important person. It doesn't mean that person will be in a group the whole time. They do switch out once in a while, but in this mastermind group for Amazon, there's 4 out of us 6 that are the originals, you know, and that's pretty phenomenal. I'm extremely happy about that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't really have anything. Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to say, you know, on that form, which, by the way, I don't know if you're going to be able to share that, but that'd be great to see. And that represents a lot of thought on your part. It seemed to me that you were sort of picking a focus. You know, what is it you want to accomplish? Is that, how critical is that to the formation of a group or the maintenance of a group over time?
Okay. I'm sorry. Please repeat the question, Bill.
Okay. So on that form you had, I think I saw somewhere it said, you know, what do you want, or what are you trying to achieve? Something, you know, like basically, what is the goal?
Yep.
And once you're clear on that, then you find the people who can support you in achieving it, right?
Correct. Yes.
How important is it that that goal be consistently kept? I mean, what is it, a long-term strategic goal? Is it a tactical goal? Because how do you maintain a group over time? When you say you've got people you've been with maybe longer than you expected, and maybe longer than needed, was the goal too short and the group too long, or vice versa? What are your thoughts? That's what I was curious about, and how you see it.
It's an awesome question. I can speak for the first group, the 2006 Mastermind or 2004 Mastermind. The focus of the different goals for many of us have changed. But so it's not always the same. Like, for instance, when I was in a group, it was the RIP card. Guess what? I switched to Amazon, and I'm also doing courses. But I still go to the Mastermind for advice. It doesn't change. So everybody has different backgrounds, but so it actually has changed. So it can change. The Amazon group, a little bit different, but it's interesting too. 5 out of the 6 are all selling on Amazon. 1 switched away from Amazon about 2 years ago, still in our group, because he's doing marketing online. And a lot of things that we need to do to rank our websites and everything, we still need to do. So he is very active. He's the one that did a presentation in last Mastermind on Midjourney. Midjourney is the new AI software for generating images. And he had done a lot of courses on it. So he took the entire class and just leveled up our knowledge on Midjourney. So he's very happy in our group and contributes a lot to us marketing, not only in Amazon, but on our own websites. And he gets a lot from us too. So he sees the value. So things do change even in the group. But the Amazon group is very much Amazon focused, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to be there. Yep, it's a great question.
Yeah, it's not exclusive. Okay, so tell me if this analogy makes sense.
Yep.
It's almost like when you go to, if you go to school, you form a study group with your peers, and you're all in it because everybody goes, "Oh my God, I can't get through calculus by myself."
That's right.
But
that'll be me.
Then you all go on to medical school, and somebody says, "Boy, I can't get through this, biochemistry by myself." The group is still the group, but the focus changes. Is that kind of how you found it to turn out?
Yes, absolutely. It's it just but I still, you see, these people come from so many different backgrounds, and they have so many different ways to help me. So it was not a problem at all. But
Cool.
Yeah, and one time I was sued. I was like, holy shit, what the hell do I do now? One of my virtual assistants had
you sued? Yeah, come on.
I know. No, it wasn't my fault. Of course, it's never my fault. No, it was one of my virtual assistants had used an image that was copyrighted by the Getty images.
Oh yeah,
lawyers. Oh, there's somebody like doing. Did I do that? Yeah. So it was, and I went to my Mastermind group and I said, dude, what do I do? One answer went away. Cool. I'm not going to say it here because if they ever listen to this call, they'll come after me again. But no, it was amazing. So and I was all frustrated. I didn't know what to do. Yeah. So and again, another general question too, or a question I get, like, why? I mean, not in business. Why do I need a Mastermind group? Trust me, you can have a Mastermind group for no matter what you're doing. I wish I had a Mastermind group when I was a young, very ambitious athlete, to get the mental strength that you need to play a competitive sport. For instance, I played soccer. What if I wanted to be good at slide tackling and I wasn't good? What if I wanted to get good at scoring and I wasn't? Or what's good at taking penalties? What if I picked the best people on my team to form a small group and we share how do we go about taking a penalty game? What do you do when you first go into a slide tackle? All these things you can elevate yourself, or be a single parent with a kid that you have in a kindergarten, and that kindergarten doesn't have enough tools to keep the education level of the kids in that kindergarten. Form a Mastermind group with 3-4 other parents that have the kids in the same kindergarten and raise funds. Do a cookie sale, talk to local businesses to raise money for so it doesn't matter what level you're at. Masterminds is for everyone. I really believe that. Or if you want to find a relationship, or lose weight, or fight diabetes, or if you deal with cancer, God forbid, right? All of these things. Form a Mastermind group, a support group. We all need that. So
I totally agree. And you've always been my sort of North Star on how to do it right. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. I don't know about that.
Mm.
He is
Alf,
the
I think this is a good time. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, this Jen. Just wanted to say thank you so much for these insights, and just listening to everybody else. There's so much that I resonate with, from Tony Robbins to meditation to gratitude. You know, it's where it's all at, and you've really given me a different viewpoint on Mastermind. It's been amazing.
Thank you, Jenny. And Jenny and I know I repeated that she's on a call again. She was in the car, but we met in Cabo San Lucas on a high-level mastermind group. We all flew down there, paid $5,000 to be 3 days to learn about the mastermind. We were like maybe 40 people. We're all collaborating and figuring out ways to sell better. Good, wonderful lady, and I know I would love to hear more about what you're doing, Jenny, because I know you're into graphics and images and stuff like that. Is that correct?
I was so fascinated with Midjourney, and I went, oh man, I wish I worked in that mastermind to learn all about Midjourney. But yeah, let us collaborate offline. I do think there's a lot of value that I could bring to your group.
Okay, I have
in terms of doing a presentation. Yeah.
Okay, I have a little bit hard time getting what you're saying because it's a little muffled, and I apologize. Yeah.
Sorry. Next, I'll message you. Thanks, Al.
Oh, okay. I will follow up and send you guys the PDF that I've created for this as well, so everyone will get that. And I'll have the little write-up that I have for all the steps that we go through when we do our mastermind. It doesn't mean that you have to do it this way, but at least it gives an idea how we go through the mastermind, how it's set up, and because it gives you some insights, because people don't think about all these things. And we're very picky about, attendance and the confidentiality, and all of these things are extremely important when we're in a mastermind. So I see I got about 7 minutes left here, but any other insights, anything want to share, anyone? And thank you, Bill and Jenny, for sharing, as well as Robin and I will mute her 1 second. I think she muted herself. Yeah. Any others have anything that they want to share or question, or any way I can help? If you want to get on a one-on-one call with me, I'll be more than happy to do that as well. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I think this is probably a done deed, but I've instituted, I'm an ambassador on Alignable, and for the New Haven, Connecticut Alliance group, that's community. They have all the different groups all over the country in Canada and the US. But I've instituted a program where the first week of the month, we have a face-to-face networking meeting. The second, we have a Smart Connect, which is just a kind of speed dating, to meet new people. The third week, I'm bringing in outside guest presenters on topics that would be relevant to small business owners. Would you be one of my upcoming guests? You get 45 to an hour to do your thing. I'll give you some guidance on it. And, it makes us add value, but it gives you opportunity at the same time. And, Alf, I would be, you just constantly remind me of how many things I've forgotten to do that are so good to do. And I think that gift should be shared with others. Would you be up for that?
My God, I didn't know you were asking me, but I'll be honored to. I'll be more than honored.
All right, I'll follow up with you separately.
Thank you so much, Bill. That's awesome. Good. Really appreciate that. I'm honored. I just got to polish my presentation a little bit.
I'll even tell you how to structure it so it's a winner, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But I think the whole idea about masterminding, I'll be a personal. I didn't intend to mastermind per se, but I have a couple of select groups where I show up on a regular basis, and we do have some long-term and some shorter-term things, but the group is so important, and you get to know, like, and trust one another. But then you tap into that brain trust of wisdom that, remember when you were trying to figure out how to, deal with Feinstein and all that stuff and getting deported and all that. And you said, yeah, I got, this is bigger than I am. And you found the group became the resource you needed to get what you had to do. So I've come to that conclusion so many times. I'm sure we all have. But I think that's a lesson a lot of people don't yet know. And you'd be a great spokesperson for how to share that knowledge.
Oh, thank you, Bill. I'm honored. I don't know how good I'll be at expressing myself, but I'll certainly
do my wonderful best. Come on.
Well, thank you. I'll just take it as it is.
I'll follow up with you. Good enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else need any help? Anyone that that has anything they want to share that we could be of help with? Anyone? Boban, you speaking up? Anything? Bob,
I must tell I'm so grateful that I've been invited in this call, and I've never thought about mastermind group and making one, etc. And now I think it's really so interesting that
Yeah.
a man should try. And
absolutely. Yeah, no, it would be a great help to you too, Boban, to build a mastermind. No question. So Boban is starting a new business in my hometown, and lots to learn as a foreigner with new rules and culture and this and that. Yeah, and we're not going to go into details, but he's dealing with some people that's not dealing nicely with him. And so I'm trying to help him as much as I can. I'm like going, okay, do I need to call my Uncle Knuckles? Or what do I need to do?
Wow, you found the right guy, Kozumara.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Norma is coming in. Oh, that's another one. Latecomer here, but welcome as always. This is another person joining us now, Norma, from our Mastermind with Tony Robbins. So, yeah, we're just about to end the call, Norma, but appreciate you coming in as well. I will have a replay of it. So, yeah, we'll get to that. Any other things, Robin, Angelica? Anything we can help with? Any last famous words?
I just want to say thank you for putting this together. Like I've known you for a year now, and you still bring up new things and loving it. Thank you.
That's great. Appreciate hearing that. Thank you. Yeah, no.
Thank you, Alf. I'm gonna say goodbye. But thank you so much again.
Thank you as well. Again, little hard time hearing you on the mic there. Sorry about that. But yeah. Yeah. Can you guys hear her clearer than me? Is that maybe it's worse for me? No? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's muffled them for you too. Yeah. Okay. Cool, guys. Really appreciate you getting on the call. It's my second call. I'm doing it every Friday. So I'll be here. If you want to just come and hang out, there'll be some repetition. I'll always try to bring in new stuff. But and if you have friends of yours that you feel should be here and connect, that we all could benefit from, that's what it's about. Cool. So feel free to, not a must, but if you can think of somebody, just take the invitation, send it out. The link works for anyone. So hopefully, one quick question: was it easy to get in? Just click and boom. It's like because I know a lot of people have problems with Zoom and Microsoft sometimes. So yeah, that's good to hear. So so this is Google Meet, obviously. So I just got an account for this. So excellent. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I will follow up with an email and I'll get in touch with you too, Bill. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your offer as well. Have a great
week. Man.
Have a great week.
You will, guys. Good to see y'all.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Great weekend, I should say. Bye.